Hey everyone, I'm Ultraviolent4 and this is a brand new playthrough of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Hot off the heels of our Mummy Berserker playthrough, which made a 4-game win streak, we're going to attempt the 5-game win streak. 4 comes after 5, who knew? No! Fly around! 5 comes after 4. Anyway, oh god, should I restart this? No, we'll live with it. Alright. So, I know that you already know the combo because you've seen the video title, but I like to tease it out a bit. So, I've said that if anyone makes a genuine attempt at cosplaying a character, I will play that character. It's happened once before. I did a Minotaur transmuter, I believe. Well, it's happened again. So, this is a cosplay submitted by CygnusGaming, and this run is dedicated to him. It is a Minotaur Hunter. You see here, it's a hand crossbow by the look of it there. So he's dual wielding a melee and a range weapon at the same time, which is kind of illegal. But anyway, Cygnus sent me 3 photos, but this is my favorite of the 3. So that's pretty cool stuff. If I start getting inundated with these, I might have to make a bit of a waiting list, but yep, the offer still stands. You genuinely cosplay a combo and I will play it. There we go. So, Minotaur Hunter. Both cosplays have been Minotaurs. Fancy that. Minotaur Hunter. Okay, so we saw there in the cosplay that Cygnus had a hand crossbow. I'm going to change that up a little bit. The last time I played a hunter, which was a kobold, I went with a hand crossbow. So I think what I'd like to try to do is something that I've never done this in Crawl ever, I think. But it's to make a character that is primarily using the throwing skill. So I'm going to go with javelins and throwing nets. And we're going to see how well we can chuck stuff. Alright, so a Minotaur. Minotaur is a really strong species as long as you're doing melee things and not casting spells. If we look at our aptitudes, everything on the left is pretty strong, everything on the right is pretty weak, except maybe invocations, which is at 0. But yeah, Minotaur is certainly not good with magic. So yes, we're going to primarily try to use the throwing skill. We started off with 6 javelins, and hopefully we've got 2 throwing nets as well, which is super overpowered. You know I love the throwing nets, if you've seen any of my playthroughs before. But we're going to try to use throwing, which by all accounts is meant to be pretty overpowered. If we have a look at our javelins, you see here, they have a min delay, so there is a point at which your skill does it. Okay, let me start that again. There's a point at which more skill won't make you throw your projectiles any more quickly, but I believe, and to my knowledge this hasn't been changed, throwing uses unarmed combat base damage. Now you might be thinking, wait, what does that even mean? It means this. Unarmed combat is special when compared to every other weapon type, because every skill of unarmed combat you get, all the way up to 27, gives you an extra base damage. I believe that's still true for throwing. So even as you train your throwing skill all the way up to 27, each skill gives you more damage. So it's one where you can just train 27 throwing skill and just go absolutely ham with it. I believe that's true. I guess we're going to test it out. Hopefully we're going to find more stuff. 6 javelins is not going to get us too far. Let's keep looking at Minotaur. So you get 2 things that make a Minotaur really good. Well, actually a bunch. We talked about the really good fighting aptitudes. That's one thing. Another is that you have a pair of horns that when enemies attack and miss you, you get to headbutt them. So in the very early dungeon, even if you're faffing around throwing stones at things, you will kill them with your horns. It means that you can't wear helmets, which is the downside, but that's not a big trade-off for the fact that you're killing everything for free. I guess that's most of what I wanted to talk about at the beginning. I can prove to you that I am still streaking and that I'm not cheating here. Maybe. There we go. At the bottom, has won their last 4 games. So this is indeed an attempt at a 5th game streak. I'll just say, in regards to God choice, I'm not sure how I want to go about this just yet. I might have to see how the character's panning out. I don't know if I want to make this a more straightforward game to just show you more or less how straightforward throwing character works with the Minotaur Hunter, and say pick Okawaru or something like that. Or maybe we'll spice it up. I'm thinking maybe of picking Chei. But yeah, we'll see. Don't know just yet. Really good thing in that we immediately find heavier armor. So we're going to put that on. It's white, so there's a chance that it's cursed, but I don't think that matters. We basically traded evasion for AC here. Oh right, I should do my training. Alright, let's go. Okay, so we definitely want to turn stealth off. We don't want to be a stealthy Minotaur. We want to be in heavy armor. Being in heavy armor, or being any ranged character really, is like being a melee character in that you can wear as heavy an armor as you want. It doesn't affect your... It's not like spellcasting where you put heavier armor on and your spells no longer work. Yeah, your heavy armor doesn't... Or your armor doesn't matter when you're a ranged character. So no stealth. Our throwing is effectively our weapon. So we're going to focus that. And we can do dodging and armor. I'm probably going to train them both. So, because Minotaurs are so good, look at all these aptitudes, +2 fighting, 0 throwing, +2 armor, +1 dodging. They're all so good. I don't mind spreading this around. On most characters, especially weaker characters, I'd probably only train 1 defensive skill. But on a Minotaur, I don't mind having fighting, armor, and dodging. All 3. Let's go nuts. It's all going to go up really quickly due to our really strong aptitudes. And let's go. I'm going to start off manually exploring so that we can try to find pillars. Pillars are things that you can run around to regenerate your health if you get hurt in the early game. This thing in the middle looks like it probably is that. This looks like a racetrack actually. Like it's, is it called Daytona? Is that the one where you just go round and round for days? You do hundreds of laps. Is that Daytona? I don't know. Anyway, that's what it looks like, a racetrack. So we can fight this guy. Now, if it's a monster that I'm not afraid of, I don't mind using the short sword that we've started off with. You might think, well, you can throw your 6 javelins. You've got 6 of them. That's true. But every time you throw a ranged projectile, or you fire one, say you've got a bow or a crossbow, there's a chance that you will mulch that, which means it gets destroyed. So, especially in this early game where we've only got 6 javelins and nothing else, I would like to save those if it's a trivial monster. And I'm just going to tab him. Okay, good. Oh, the other thing that makes Minotaur really good, which I didn't explain, is that they have plus 20% HP, I believe. Apt Minotaur. This should tell me. HP 1, so it's plus 10% HP, not 20%. But still, that's really great. So we've got really strong attacks, we've got free horn retaliation, and then we've got a bunch of HP. So, really strong. We're going to test out this racetrack theory. Yep. Okay, here's a rat. Alright, that is indeed true. So, we're a Minotaur. I feel strong on D1. Now that we have a pillar, we can dance around. I don't mind just hitting auto explore. Alright, the leopard gecko I feel is a little bit scary. These guys are fast and they can bite for 5, so I'm going to throw our javelins. In fact, I'm going to hit the tilde key here and I'm going to make a macro that does F dot. I've already got it from the last game. So if I hit that macro, we're going to throw javelins. Good. And we didn't mulch one. Every time we don't mulch our 6 javelins, I'll be really happy. In the early game, javelins are really strong. There's a base damage of 10. That's huge. You can kill anything as long as you can connect with them. Here's a hunting sling. You see here that slings cross trains with throwing, so we get value out of that, but we're not going to want to do that, or we're not going to even want to try it unless we have some sling bullets or a whole bunch of rocks, because these things, even though they're plain, can be cursed. And if we get stuck with a sling that we have no ammunition for, we're still not in that much trouble because we can throw our javelins, but yeah, beyond that, not so good. And I mean, we can throw rocks too, so maybe we won't use a sling. Maybe that's a little bit against the spirit of the throwing character. Alright, I'm going to drop it. But hunting slings are really, really good in the early game. Even with 0 sling skill, and we have 2.7 from cross training. Alright, we picked up a 2 of something. If you get 2 scrolls like this in the early game, where it wasn't a stack of 2, we found 1 scroll on 2 separate occasions, it's likely to be either identify or remove curse. Both of those would be good to find, so I'm going to read one now. It's teleportation. That's not so good because it's going to throw us potentially somewhere in the unknown. Let's not be unlucky, we weren't. Okay, so that was okay. It was potentially bad, but it's a risk you take when you do this sort of thing. If this were a weaker character where being thrown into the unknown was life-threatening, I probably would have waited till the start of D2 to read it, because then I could have read it on the stairs of D2, and if it was teleport like this, I would have come back upstairs to the explored floor. But the nice thing about doing that is that now we have our teleportation scrolls identified. So say we meet a D2 segment or something that we can't run from, we can try to teleport away. Alright, here's a kobold. I'm afraid of him. I'm just going to hold on to our javelins again. We haven't found any stones, which is kind of unlucky. I'm going to turn those on auto pickup because we're going to want all the throwing things we can get. Yeah, so these early monsters, the kobolds, etc., often have stones in the early game, so it's a bit unlucky we haven't found any yet. Also in our auto pickup, we want all the throwing things. Let's turn tomahawks on as well. Probably even needles. Throwing skill governs how well you can use blowguns, so there's a good chance that we'll do needles. We've got another 2 of something. It looks like we've done most of D1, so I think I'll wait for D2 to read this. There are sling bullets, 20 of them. I'm going to pick those up and the sling, and I'm going to just promise not to use it unless we completely run out of javelins. Because I can imagine a situation here where, say we meet an adder, we throw all 6 javelins at it, and then we want to have the sling as well. We got a rune dagger here. This might just be a curse -3 dagger, but it could also be, say, a dagger of Elec or a dagger of Venom. So that's a really great pickup. I'm just going to wait until we read that second scroll on D2, because if that's a remove curse scroll, it will mean I'll feel happier wielding this dagger. This frilled lizard is actually killing us. Wow, that guy was ham. Why do none of you have rocks? Where are all your stones? None of them have stones. This is an outrage. Well, we did D1 without finding any stones. This is the absolute nightmare if you're an earth elementalist, because you're dependent on stones to be able to use your sandblast. It's not horrible for us, because we can still do other stuff. But yeah, when you're an earth elementalist, every time you cast that spell, you lose a stone. So if you have a game like that where you find none, you're in for a bad time. Let's start reading these scrolls of 2. Enchant weapon. Well, let's throw that on the rune dagger in the hope that that's going to be something good. The other one is identify. I'm going to go for our potions. Cancellation is rare but not too useful. And also we get curing. Okay, that's really nice. If we meet an early, say, orc wizard who confuses us, we can escape. Also, if we end up lethally poisoned from, say, an adder or something, we get another go at life. So, we didn't get remove curse, but I'm willing to risk wielding the dagger. Even if it's curse -2, it couldn't be -3 now because we put an enchant weapon on it, so that's nice. We can still throw stuff, so it's not the end of the world. Whoa, boy, that's a dagger of electrocution. Okay, that's definitely not the end of the world. That's amazing. So, Elec is an extremely powerful brand on a fast weapon like a dagger. Every time you proc it, you're going to kill stuff, especially in the early game. So our character just leveled up a lot. I'm going to drop the short sword. I'm also going to drop the hunting sling now, so I don't have to go against the spirit of a throwing run. Yeah, because if I ever run out of javelins, I'm happy. I'm going to be more than happy hitting stuff with an elect dagger. This is telling me there's going to be some sort of altar here. Alright, let's wait for that to come. It's a McLeb altar. That's not what I'm looking for. If you were just playing purely optimal, I just want to win my game. Say you're trying to break the world record streak. I don't know, you maybe wouldn't be playing Minotaur Hunter. But if you were, you would pick McLeb here. Basically, the strength that you get from just having an early god in the game is really, really powerful. So most games you should just take the first okay god you find, which in this case would be this one right here. Having a D2 McLeb is really strong. Hey, nice, we found some stones, 20 stones. Just give me a sec. My phone's going off. I need to answer this. Alright, okay. So now the stones let us throw stuff at more trivial enemies and we don't have to worry about mulching them. I can either hit the brackets to switch between all the stuff we have, or I can hit Shift Q for the quiver. I'm going to quiver our stones. So now, say for instance with this ball python now, I don't mind just throwing stones at it, and look at that. We killed it in one. We also mulched it. So imagine if that was one of our 6 javelins. It would be very sad. I see there's a glass thing here. That might also... Oh, there are glass things here too. Alright, never mind. I was thinking that might indicate some other vault that would have altars in it, but I don't think that's true. I think there are just glass walls around. Yeah, Natasha? Quite dangerous. And a bullfrog zombie. Okay, so she's got hexes. She can slow you. 56% chance to slow us here. She can call imps, and then she can use magic darts. I really don't want to fight her at all this early, but I especially don't want to fight her in the open like this. If you have to fight her, and often you do because she's actually fast. You see here she covers ground quickly. If you're a regular 10 speed enemy, she'll run you down. But let's say you have to fight her, try to be in a hallway, because when she summons imps, you don't want her and the imps to be able to hit you. You just want to fight one. Really, you just want to fight Natasha. I'm going to exclude this step. It's Shift X and then we put E to exclude it. I'm going to pick a new one. We're going to try to stay away from Natasha until we're stronger, I guess. This is a lot of stuff. 2 goblins and a hobgoblin all at once suggests to me that Robin could be around. And here we go. We've got the choice of going strength in or dex. I'm thinking that I just want to go super strength mode. So strength affects the base damage of stuff. And I don't know, if we want to try to get some sort of damage out of things like stones, we want to have 1,000,000 strength. Especially if we go Chei, we can just get silly amounts of strength and just kill stuff with throwing implements. So we're almost certainly not going to be casting spells as a Minotaur Hunter. Even with Chei, I probably won't. And Dex is nice for dodging, but who cares? More strength, more damage, right? Okay, good. I'm gonna throw stones as that bat approaches, and then when it gets next to us, hit him with the elect dagger. No Robin here. Okay. Which I'm not going to complain about too much. Robin can be nasty. She can spawn with wands, and her main benefit is that she always gives you a helmet. But we're a Minotaur, so we can't even wear helmets. Whatever. Man, a bullfrog zombie would be terrifying for a lot of characters, because it's fast. So if you're some fragile mage, can run you down and then can hit for 7. We're just gonna run back to the stairs. Zombies and skeletons can't ever use stairs. So see, look at this. It's actually killing us, even as a Minotaur Hunter. Look at that. Half our health gone. So they can't follow you upstairs. And the other nice thing is that they won't ever regenerate. So we can come down, fight it a bit, and if we're hurt, we go back upstairs. Short sword of freezing. Interesting. And he's got stones. Great. Oh, speaking of D2 Sigmunds. Alright. There is Sigmund. Sigmund on D2, terrifying. We do happen to have a curing potion, so we're better off than normal. But we got to avoid him. And we're Xing that stair out. In fact, I think both these stairs have Natasha. No, that one doesn't. Okay, it's just the other one that's X'd out. Alright, so I think that tells us that we basically want to avoid D2. There's Sigmund and Natasha on it. I was going to try to claim that short sword of freezing as a backup weapon, because the freezing brand can slow some enemies. But I think we just skip D2 now that we know Sigmund's here. And maybe we can come back when we're stronger, but yeah, for now, no thank you. Okay, an adder is dangerous. Not horrible because we have a curing potion, but dangerous enough that I'm willing to throw our javelins at it. Okay, well, one of them hit. And then actually, probably I should just throw them all. Alright, is it dangerous enough? We're getting quite poisoned that I want to try to throwing net it. I think so. Alright, and now we'll stab it. I really don't want to use my only curing potion. Alright, we're going to throwing net it again. Could you please die? Okay, good. Oh, we lost both our throwing nets. But yeah, you got a good example there of why adders are so dangerous in the early game. Man, we could not hit that guy. We threw all 6 of our javelins. We threw 2 throwing nets, and then we tried to dagger of a Lekit, and we still half ended up dead. Here's an embroidered cloak. We're going to put that on. It's a +2 cloak. It's a nice bright teal color that I think looks fantastic. Bonus points for style here. And that's giving us 3 extra AC. 1 for the base of the cloak, and then it's a +2 enchantment. So that's really, really good for us. Is that all we want to do here? We want to quiver our stones again. A War Axe of Draining. Okay. And he had a short sword of venom. Alright, well this is great. We're going to pick that up too. It's a +2 short sword of venom. I'm going to put that on B, so now I can switch between the two with the apostrophe. So you do equals I to change the letters, and then apostrophe to switch between A and B. These are both great weapons. What's really good about the short sword of venom is it lets you do damage over time. So if it's something really scary that you don't want to be hitting you, or hitting you back as you're hitting it, say with the elect dagger, you can instead hit it with the short sword of venom to get it poisoned, and then kite it while it's ticking out to the damage over time. I don't really want to take shots from the War Axe of Draining, so I'm going to throw javelins at him. Okay, it didn't work. I'm going to go with the venom play. We just killed him. Alright, well that worked. And I'm going to pick up the War Axe of Draining. You'll note that I haven't trained any other weapon type. We might at some stage, particularly if we don't end up going Okawaru, who will gift us additional range weapons. We're probably going to struggle all game with finding, say, enough javelins and tomahawks and things. So it's very likely that we will want to train some melee weapon to use a bit as well. But there's no hurry for that. So I'm not just going to say, oh look, we found a good short blade, quickly, let's slam on the short blades. Similarly for axes, we found a war axe of draining. That's pretty good. Let's start training axes now. There's no hurry. We'll wait and see if we find something that's really good. This looks like a vault that's going to have altars in it. So we're going to come in here. We got Gozag, Ru, and that's it. I don't think I want either of those gods. I think I'd probably either want to just go straightforward Chei or Chei. Oh yeah, sorry, straightforward Okawaru or Chei. Gozag would be perfectly fine, but I don't know. I'm gonna hold off. Yeah, that's another plain scroll. Once we get to D4, hey look, more stones. Let's quiver those. Once we get to D4, I'll be happy to just start reading all our scrolls. Because then we can try to find magic mapping and try to find the temple potentially. Alright. We throw our stones, we sort of do little amounts of damage, and then he steps into our lightning dagger and just dies. Let's identify the stack of 2 potions. That's League. Okay, that's a great find. That half makes me feel like we could go fight Sigmund. You need to be careful with it though, because when you're League you can't move. You need to remember that Sigmund has a polearm. So if he's a tile away from you still when you League, he's then going to sit there hitting you with the polearm while you potentially can't hit him back. Oh boy. Here's a kobold with an early blowgun. That's really dangerous, but it's also good because if we can kill him, we can steal his blowgun. I'm just thinking, if I step to the left here, I don't think it will break line of sight. It did. Okay, well, I'm going to step around the corner like this to force him to come to us, because if we're adjacent to him, he's not going to use a ranged weapon. It's quite important that this is a really small thing, but it's very useful for us to find out that the blowgun isn't cursed. So say we saw the kobold originally back there, we probably could have thrown javelins at him and killed him before we became lethally poisoned. But then we'd pick up the blowgun, we don't know that we have remove curse yet, and if we wielded it, we might be stuck with it. Whereas now, because I've stepped adjacent to the kobold, he's switched out of his ranged weapon, we've seen him change, so we know the blowgun isn't cursed. So have a look. Now when we pick it up, we know it's an uncursed blowgun. So that is really cool. It's a really small play, but it can have very big effects on your game. Say that were cursed, now you're stuck with a cursed blowgun. You potentially don't have any remove curse. We'd lose access to our dagger and short sword. Alright, cool. So as I said, throwing skill governs how good you are with blowguns. How many needles did we get? 17 poison needles. That's quite amazing. I'm going to walk around with the blowgun out and we're going to poison stuff. Just waiting for Elect to proc. We're going to keep identifying potions. Alright, we don't need degen. The next best thing would probably be heal wounds. That would be very nice to find. I've put my blowgun on W, so once I've got one on A and B for apostrophe, I like to go with W, so I can just hit WW to go to that one. Well, we don't really need to poison a gecko. See the apostrophe on this stair? It tells us that it's unknown. That's because we never finished exploring D2, which I'm fine with. I don't need to go back up to clear it, because I think Sigmund is still dangerous. We have a lot of tools to fight him, but we're still not super strong, and we still only have 1 potion of curing. Say he confuses us, I'm like, sweet, that's fine. We've got a potion of curing. Quaff it, the very next turn, hits us with another confuse. Say goodnight. Not good. So let's not do that. We'll leave him till later. We'll come back when we're level 27 and we'll just crush him. Alright, D4. I like to read all my scrolls, see if we can find magic mapping. There's the remove curse. The next one we find, we can start putting on the jewelry that we found. We can try wielding this war axe of draining. Let's keep going. Immolation. Enchant armor. Well, the ringmail is all that we can enchant. Our cloak is already fully enchanted. Scroll of fear and blinking. Alright, so we found a lot of tools there, but not magic mapping. I'm half tempted to just enchant weapon our elect dagger up again, or maybe even our short sword of venom. But oh wait, I think we're very strong. We can maybe do a demonstration of it right now. So a default worker ant is quite scary. We saw how dangerous our fight with an adder was. A worker ant's even worse. They're also fast, they're also evasive, hard to hit, and they also poison you. The difference is, and I only learnt this relatively recently in my crawl career, because I spent most of my playing history thinking that adders were susceptible to poison. They're not, but worker ants are. So if we manage to, say, hit him with the blowgun, we missed, but now we're going to switch to the short sword of venom, because if we can poison him, he's going to die really quickly to that being susceptible to it. There you go. Ticks out. So not too bad. We see here an ogre. This might be another good example of how strong we are. So we see here an ogre he's colored red. It's telling us he's an extremely dangerous enemy, and that is true. So if we examine him, he can hit for up to 17 damage plus his giant spiked club, and that might not sound too bad until you realize how much damage a giant spiked club does. If I can spell it. I probably could have just searched for GCS. I bet that finds it. No, it didn't. Oh, because that's wrong. GSC. Okay, I'll remember that for next time. Giant Spiked Club does 22 damage. So when you add 17 and 22 together to make 39, he could one-shot us potentially. Probably not, because we get a little bit of guaranteed damage reduction with our ring mail, but close enough that I would not want to be hit by him even once. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot some poison needles at him. He looks even sicker. He looks as sick as possible. So now we're going to start kiting him. So we've got a nice pillar here that we can run around forever. So we're just going to... Oh, I messed that up. I walked around the corner stupidly such that he caught up to us. But it doesn't matter. He ticked out to the poison. So the play was just do that. Keep running around. Every time the poison runs out, we'd hit him again with a blowgun. And if he ever actually caught us, I'd switch to the venom dagger. Oh, sorry, venom short sword. We'd hit him once to poison him, and again we'd run around and around. The brass wand is very nice. I'm seeing again stone walls. We're going to be heading towards those every time we see them, because it might be altars or it might be a vault that has a temple in it. Worker ant, same play. Needles, then venom dagger, and he dies really quickly. A wand of polymorph. Okay, that's pretty good. Most things in the early game are not going to be able to resist a hex wand because they have low magic resistance. And if it's, say, something like Sigmund, if you can polymorph him, pretty much anything you polymorph him into is going to be less dangerous than Sigmund is early game. So it's a nice tool to have. Hey, there's a scythe. We should go get the scythe and then go fight Sigmund in a scythe duel. We'll become a tree and then we'll use our scythe to chop down his tree. No, we're not. We'll go later. Let's keep... There's our potion of heal wounds. That's nice. Here's a scroll of fear, which is really good. It's a escape tool. We just talked about how monsters have low magic resistance in the early game. Well, it means they're unlikely to resist a scroll of fear. It checks their magic resistance for whether or not they run away. Scorpion, really, really frightening in the early game. Not fast, but does really, really strong poison. So if you let them hit you, you're going to get poisoned out really quickly. But like the ant, these guys are susceptible to poison. So if we can land a couple of blowgun shots to poison it, it's just going to tick out. And we're going more strength. It's going all in strength gaming. Orcs, we're going to back up. If you ever see orcs, there are probably going to be more of them. And I still don't want to fight orc priests or orc wizards. Okay, so let's back up. I could potentially use this shaft to shaft the orc priest, but what I'm going to do is something a little bit sneaky. So we're going to switch to our blowgun. Alright, we're going to try to poison him. I missed. Okay, I got a poison and he chose to smite us, which is fine. Shoot another poison. Okay, so he's as sick as possible. So here's what we're going to do. He's ticking out to the damage over time. Every time he's going to take some poison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the door. See, then he immediately opens the door again, but in that exchange he then took poison damage. So if I keep shutting the door, he can keep opening it. That's fine, he's dying. Door strats. That's amazing. Alright. Doors are great, by the way. I feel like they're very underutilized in how much broken stuff you can do with them. Well, there's another example. Here's a scale mail that's heavier than a ring mail, so we're going to upgrade. We're going from 9 AC, 12 evasion, which is 21 total, to 9 and 11, which is 20. So that's actually worse. It's because our ring mail is +1. Okay, we're going to go back. Never mind. If it was +0 and +0, I just prefer the scale mail because the extra AC is usually preferable, but it's not. Nice, we just gained another 12 poison needles. So we're going to go a lot of poisoning to come. This was a funky room, but nothing in it. More league is nice. Orcs, so we start backing up in case there are priests and wizards. If with this one, so the adder was really poison, was going to tick out, but say he was only slightly poisoned, they actually can't open doors, so I could have shut that door. The adder would have been stuck on the other side and then ticking out to poison. But yeah, we didn't need to worry about it. Let's throw stones at this howler monkey. Another ring. We still don't have any remove curse, so we can't use that yet. Rather than ID a ring, we're not in any particular hurry for rings. I'm just going to hold on to it for when we get more potions. Alright, so we poison the iguana. You see here that it's coming up as yellow. Okay, well he already ticked out, but I was going to say we can shut the door on him, and similar thing, just wait for him to tick out the poison. The dart slug is susceptible, so he's going to die. No, he didn't. Alright, interesting. This iguana, he's yellow because they can bite for up to 15. That's quite a lot of damage. When I short sword of venom him, when I hit him a few times, and now we'll just kite him. Oh, crazy youth. We might go fight crazy youth. Nice, we got some gloves. That's extra AC. Brings us up to 11. Okay, so crazy youth is someone that you don't ever want to hit you. He has a chaos weapon, so even just one shot might paralyze you, might banish you, send you to the abyss. But we have a couple of tricks up our sleeve here. One, we have the poison and kite tactic, but the other one is that we can polymorph him. And if we polymorph him into something that can't use a weapon, he's going to drop his quarterstaff of chaos. So let's try that. It's a 54% chance to get him, and if it fails, we might have to then run. Oh god, okay, this is way worse. Except that we can shut the door. Alright, so he became Crazy Youth the Rhyme Drake, which can do flash freeze, which is way worse than Crazy Youth in some ways, but in other ways not as bad, because I'm 99% sure, but I hope to god that Rhyme Drakes don't know how to open doors. So we're just going to shut that door, we're going to exclude it, and we're never coming back. Alright, well, That's showing you how polymorph can potentially be used against dangerous uniques, but also showing you that it's not a guarantee. Alright, so let's keep going. We might have found temple on this floor, but we didn't. It can be anywhere between D4 and D7. We've got new potions to identify, potions of might. Those are nice. I think probably once we finish D5, I think we'll be strong enough to go fight Sigmund. Nice, a bookshop. These are actually pretty good books. Especially if we go Chei, maybe we can get Lightning Bolt. As soon as I see, not Lightning Bolt, Summon Lightning Spire. As soon as I see Summon Lightning Spire, my eyes just light up. And I mean, if we have 15 extra intelligence from Chei, I don't know, who knows. Some other good, this is a really good shop actually. There's the Book of Geomancy, which I really like Pass Wall in. What else have we got? Misfortunes, we're not going to do those. Transfigurations, if we want to go a statue form throwing guy. Stranger things have happened, I'll mark that too. Book of Life has Vile Clutch in it, that's really good. Don't care about those. Yes, I do actually, because Debilitation has Portal Projectile, and then Necromancy has Animate Skeleton and Regeneration. So this is Book of the Sky also has Summon Lightning Spire and I guess Deflector Missiles, but there's no way we're ever casting Deflector Missiles on a Minotaur. Yeah, this shop is amazing. This has so many spells that would be really good for our character. I don't know that we'll ever use any of them, but I'll mark them all on our shopping list just in case. And if you weren't aware, you press the $ key to see what's on your shopping list. The game will give you a little message to say, hey, you reached enough gold to afford one. Here's Hep, another perfectly good god. So we're skipping all these perfectly serviceable gods to try to get one that I like. Okay, the Orc Priest. Let's quiver our javelins. These guys are still dangerous enough that I'm treating them with respect. So there you go, our javelins both hit and killed it. A max damage smite is 17, so we could eat a lot of those, which is the benefit of being a plus 10% HP Minotaur, but I still don't want to mess with it too much. In fact, I'm just going to open this door. I probably should have done that beforehand, so that we have a safer path back to the upstairs here, because the door's already open. We don't have to waste a turn opening it. Say if we're being chased by an ogre or something, or a double-headed ogre. Let's just quiver our stones. I'm not doing anything to the worm. It's okay. Alright, good. We proc a lek on our dagger. See that, because daggers are a really fast weapon, even with no short blade skill. Have a look at the top right here. The number in brackets is how long our last action took. So it only takes a regular turn to swing with a dagger, even with no training. Even more poison needles, this is sick, up to 37 poison needles. So it's definitely, definitely a poison needle blowgun game. This ring of Hopsolas maybe, is amazing. We're marking that bad boy. It's got RF plus, RN plus, 3 points of MR. Strength -4 is a bit of a bummer, but we're going all in strength anyway, so I'm not worried about running out of strength. I also noticed there is a ring of poison resistance, which is really nice. A +3 ring of slaying, which is really nice. Extra damage on your thrown stones is always good. And that's probably the main things. There's an amulet there, artifact amulet, that does harm. It's nice that it gives RLEC, but I don't think I want the harm. Even though it might sound tempting because, hey, we can do additional damage on our throwing. I don't even know how much damage it does. 30%. You get a 30% damage bonus and enemies get a 20% damage bonus against you. So I don't know. If there's a character that wants harm, maybe it's a Minotaur chucker. I say chucker because chucking is throwing in Australian slang. In fact, whenever I think of chucking, I think of cricket. So that's that explains the character art that you see. Well, I haven't actually drawn it yet. I'm recording first, but that's the character art that I'm planning. So if it's not in fact a cricketer in the art, just forget everything I just said. There's also an amulet of faith, which I think I'm going to ignore. That's a really good amulet if we're going with Okawaru, but for Chei, not quite so amazing. And also, I don't know. There's enough good stuff here to spend our gold on that I'm not going to be in a hurry to buy the amulet of faith. We've got how much? Like 1,300 worth of gold to spend here on good rings, and then we've also got a bunch of books. Yeah, so we're not in a hurry to get faith. And look, here's another shop, an armor shop that has an artifact chainmail that we can afford right now. Some other good things, a buckler, which would be nice. Some boots, which would be nice. We've never found boots, so the boots would be a +1 to our AC. The buckler would allow us to start blocking things and training shields. And the bloodstained chainmail, which I think I'll go for, because we can identify it. I was just thinking we don't have any remove curse, so it's a bit of a risk. But if we identify for it first, we'll know. Okay, so I'm going for this. Paying 161 gold to test out an artifact that might be a +10 chainmail with +6 slaying and all these other really cool things is definitely a gamble I want to take. It's only a +1 chainmail, but it has +invis on it. It gives us a point of RC, strength -3, so the game is really trying to stop us from all-in strength play, but that's okay, and a bit of stealth. I think we want that. We're going to put that on. Let's see, we're at 11 AC, 12 evasion, that's 23. This is going to 14 and 8, which is 24. So this is better. And then gives us the ability to use invis as an evocable, which I think I will immediately jump on. So our -1 evocation skill isn't great, but having early game invis is really, really, really strong. Most things can't see invis. So I'm going to focus our evocations training, and I'm going to set a skill target for 5. At 5 is where you have a 50% chance to get the ability to work. So usually I feel that's good enough. Whereas at the moment, say it's 71% chance to fail. The dangerous monster is running you down and you're just going fail, 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 crap, too late. Whereas at least with 50%, unless you get extremely unlucky, you're usually going to get it off. Let's drop our +1 ring mail. More ID. We're just going to wait for the rings. We're just going to wait until we get remove curse. Scorpion right on top of us, that's okay, because we pull out our short sword of venom. If we just get 1 venom on it, then we can kite it out. We entered a teleport trap, that's amazing. That is an example where if we were using optimal trap avoidance, we totally 100% would have skipped that. We got teleport trapped on this tile. It means with auto explore we must have been on one of the sides. So if I'd come back using the sides, staying on the red carpet, we would have avoided that. So there you go. There's a fairly straightforward example of where optimal trap avoidance is indeed optimal. Another shop. D5 is really going off. That was a food shop. Makes Gozag be a little bit more desirable. What Gozag does, or one of the things he does, is all your corpses turn into gold rather than corpses, so you don't get to eat them. Another shop. They're crazy. Right, what do we got here? We've got an amulet of rage. We're never gonna buy that. A ring of protection from magic is nice. A +6 ring of protection is very nice. And I'm gonna mark. Well, resist corrosion is often good. especially if you end up doing slime. Eventually you're going to need some form of corrosion resistance. And I'm also going to mark the uncursed ring of fire. Having a means to get RF is good, because when and if you see a volcano, it means you can do it. Oh right, I completely forgot that there was a drain on this floor. Oh man, that's so bad of me. Alright, well there's no way the drain's still alive. Completely... What happened in the start of this floor? I don't know, but I completely forgot about it. Okay, well, everything about this was bad. I should have been searching for the drain, because drains are great. They give you a bunch of consumables and often curing and heal wounds. Bummer. Alright, well, that was stupid of me. We could have had a bunch more curing and heal wounds right now. And the curing is very valuable. Alright, so when we get poisoned to death in Spider and we don't have any more curing, think back to this point as the moment we died. I think now we're going to go fight Sigmund. So we want to go back to D2. We're more than strong enough to fight Sigmund now. Worst case scenario, we just quaff Lig. And when we're in a tree with a bunch of extra both AC and hit points, we should kill him. I think we might even polymorph him. I mean, if we get a Rhyme Drake again, at least we have a point of protection from cold now. Is that what I'll do? The other thing is that we could try to go invis. He can't see invis. Here he is. Okay, I'm going to step around the corner. I'm going to see if we can invoke invis. Alright, we got it. Okay, so now he can't see us. So he's not gonna hex us. His attacks are also most likely going to miss. So I'm going to pull out our elect dagger. We're going to try to stab him. We're going to get stabs because he can't see us. We're flickering. It's running out. Alright, well, we got him. We procced elect. Alright, nice. He has a Scythe of Protection. He had a branded Scythe. I'm glad we didn't do the Scythe off plan. And then let's find Natasha and we'll call it a day. So I'm going to try to poison her. Okay, we've been slowed, which isn't great. I'm just going to go back upstairs. Let's pull out our elect dagger. No? Okay, if we're fighting her on the stairs, she's actually really dumb right now. She drank a potion of heal wounds, that's not fair. She's getting trolled by her pathing. She kept stepping on these two tiles, that was stupid. Okay, well we got her. We lost the heal wounds potion in the process. This guy had a potion of invis that we also lost. And there's Jessica. I'm not too afraid of some random invis kobold. It is nice that he identified potions of invis for us, but I would have preferred to have had that for ourselves. Let's test this hatch up. I'm going to finish exploring this floor. Natasha has 3 lives, so we get to fight her another 2 times. As is custom, when you're playing a Minotaur, you find an early magical helmet that you can't wear. Alright, there she is again. We're going to poison her. Our character is strong enough now that we can just fight her. I'm not afraid. I also note that we found multiple other sets of gloves. There was one just there. We should pick that up. And another one. There's another one on D5 that we'll test. I'm going to go Shift X Control F to forget the floor. Let's find Natasha one last time. There she is. We've been slowed, but that's okay. I'm still not afraid of her. Poison her a bit. We pull out our elect dagger and down she goes. Shift X Control U undoes the forgetting of the floor. And then just to wrap this episode off, we're going to test these gloves. So we'll do a bit more fashion to begin the next one, but we might find gloves that look better. These current ones, they look like they're white, whereas these ones are yellow. No, I think it's the exact same tile. Okay, I can't even tell the difference, so alright. Well, no fashion difference there. To begin the next one, we'll test off the other gloves here, and we'll continue trying to find Temple, where I think, pretty sure we're going to go Chei, because These characters had a pretty strong start. See you all next time.